Cars are always evolving. Design language is ever changing, and cars are like dog years. So if the manufacturer's current design is 5, 6, even 7 years running, it's probably time for a full redesign. Technology and engineering requirements are one of the main reasons for this. Plus, after a while, any design's gonna start to look really old. So today, here are 5 cars and an honorable mention where the current design is at least 10 years old, and you can still buy them today. Oh, and the last one on this list is over 15 years old, and it can get you catfished. Do you know which one that is? Me neither. Let's go. Lotus is a manufacturer that's known for making small cars. Yeah, you got little sports rockets like this Elise and the ever so stunning Exige. But the manufacturer's known to listen to its customers, and so when they asked for something that was a little bit roomier, they built this, the Lotus Evora, which kind of looks like a transformer, but it's definitely grown on me. Now, Lotus has a long-lasting tradition where E is the first letter of each one of their cars' names. And the guys over in Britain were like, how do we name this thing? And they essentially took the first 2 letters from Evolution, the EV, the first 2 letters from Vogue, VO, and the last 2 letters from Aura, RA. Evora. Now, these things had peppy little Toyota power plants in them, and even the early 2010 model put out 276 horsepower. And nowadays, they've decided to slap a supercharger on that bad boy with cars like this GT430 putting out an incredible 430 horsepower. And when you got a sports car that weighs in only at 3,100 pounds, 0 to 60 comes in just 3.6 seconds. Now, since this thing was introduced in 2010, Lotus has had to figure out a few different ways to keep consumers buying these things. And one of the ways, at least in the US, is this brand new Evora GT, which also has a supercharged 3.5 liter V6. And with 416 horsepower on tap, this thing looks like it's a ball of fun. Now, one of the things that you may know or you might be catching on to by now is that all the engines that are supplied to Lotus are from Toyota. And yet the engine that Toyota supplies to Lotus is a 400 plus horsepower supercharged engine, and yet Toyota uses a BMW engine in its new Supra, putting out only 335 horse, which doesn't make a lot of sense because historically Toyotas were extremely reliable where BMWs not so much. So is the new Supra the first time that you're going to be able to own an unreliable Toyota? Or is that too soon? Sorry. Back in 2010, when Rolls-Royce released the new Ghost, they called it the Ghost because of this car, the 1906 Silver Ghost. God, Rolls-Royce knows how to build some beautiful cars. And Rolls-Royce's Super Sedan is one that just oozes excellence. Now, there really haven't been many changes to the platform, other than extending the wheelbase on the 2011 model, and then adding very subtle visual updates, starting with the 2014 models. Now get this, the reason that Rolls-Royce brought back the Ghost in 2010 was because they wanted to build a more attainable offering, since they also make this car, the Phantom. Yeah, so guess how much the Ghost retails for? A cool $311,000. And the Phantom, wait for it, $450,000 starting MSRP. I better start eating some ramen and not quit my day job. But wait, this is my day job. This next car on the list is one of the cars that was featured in the 6 cheap cars that will make you look rich. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I definitely suggest you click on it because it is ideal. But if you're still here, well, the 350Z was the precursor to the 370Z. And the Nissan only built the 350 for 5 years. And then in 2009, something crazy happened. Nissan did a complete overhaul with the 370Z. And the sporty 2-door sports car has been a fan favorite for years. And throughout the time that Nissan's offered the 370Z, they've come in a lot of different flavors. Everything from a base, which gives you really good bang for buck performance, all the way up to the Nismo with its massive 14-inch brakes and extremely unique appearance package. I know that the Nissan 370Z is getting up there in age, but it still looks rather good. What do you think? You think it looks a little outdated? Now for 2020, they're actually getting rid of the Roadster, which I really liked. But the Coupe is still available, and if you want to buy a new car, you could buy the 50th anniversary edition in 2019. With all that being said, the car is definitely getting old, and year over year, it's actually not placing as high in different sports car publications. So buying one new might not make the most financial sense. Buying an old one may, but if I'm gonna be honest, the Nissan 370Z is looking a little outdated and it's a little overpriced. Pretty much every single car magazine has given this car Car of the Year accolades at least once, if not thrice. And every supercar owner, when this car appears in the rearview mirror, gets a little bit nervous. Do you know what car I'm talking about? It's this, the Nissan GTR. And it's crazy that this thing's been available for over a decade. And what's even more crazy is that aesthetically, very few changes have been made. Actually, the biggest changes were with the engine output. When the GTR first debuted, the VR38 DETT V6 put out 479 horsepower, and the new 2020 GTR puts out 565 horsepower. But to me, a 2009 and 2020 GTR kind of looked the same. But if you were to line them up against each other, the 2020 GTR would win from a dig. Wouldn't even be a contest. And the way that Nissan has kept the GTR fresh is by adding even more trim levels, like this Nismo, which not only looks the part, but also has 591 horsepower and 20-inch forged alloys to really set it off. And if that car was a little too much for you, they also had the track edition, which saves a little bit of weight by deleting the rear seats and will put down a 0 to 60 time of just 2.7 seconds. That's some supercar power, baby. Now the GTRs have gotten a little bit more horsepower over time, but the price has inflated a lot. In fact, this 2020 GTR is over $40,000 more than the same spec almost 10 years earlier. I think Nissan's just hanging on to both the 370Z and the GTR. They just don't really know what's next. They had such a good run with both these cars that it's gonna be extremely tough to follow suit with something better. Dodge doing dodgy things, and I like Dodge. I mean, they made great cars like the SRT10 pickup and the Dodge Viper, and they also made this car, the Dodge Challenger. And as many of you guys know, this thing is a beast. Now the Challenger itself has been around since 2008, but the platform, the chassis that it's built on, it's called the Chrysler LX chassis, is extremely old. It's been around since 2004. And the main reason you keep using the same chassis is because it cuts down on development costs. Now the most current Challenger is actually based on a lot of styling cues from the 1970 Challenger RT. And as you can see here, Dodge pulled a ton of retro from this car. And if you remember the mid-2000s, this was the second retro-styled car after the Ford Mustang, which definitely had a throwback to the 60s. And then only a few years later, they introduced the Chevy Camaro again. And as you can see, that thing is retro as well. Now, what doesn't make much sense about the Challenger is the fact that year over year, it continues to get more and more popular, which seems completely backwards of what should happen. But then again, if you're already taking a proven platform and then doing absolutely crazy things, like shoving a 707 horsepower 6.2 liter Hemi V8 under the hood, that'll get you a lot of attention going 0 to 60 in just 3.6 seconds. Guess what? Dodge was like, we're not done yet, because then they came out with the Demon. And this extremely limited production wide body quarter mile terror was debuted as literally the fastest production car ever made. And the Demon has a 6.2 liter V8 with a 2.7 liter supercharger. 2.7 liter supercharger. That whine gets me every single time. Oh, and real quick, what do you think of owners keeping on those yellow bumper guards? Well, I think Dodge changed them to purple, but don't you think the taste police would do something about it? I mean, I truly believe it's the most ridiculous phenomenon since leaving plastic on furniture. And then when you take it off, you know the debris is gonna be scratching and screwing it up. So if you bought a Challenger, would you leave those guards on or not? And now it's time for that honorable mention, baby. Now the Mercedes G Wagon might be the longest running chassis like ever. The 463 G-Class was first introduced in 1990, and they all had ABS, full-time all-wheel drive, and 3 locking differentials, which, if you didn't know already, meant you could pretty much go anywhere all the time. And these things were built like beasts. And I think I know why Mercedes built them so tough, because they needed to withstand the terrain of Rodeo Drive and the speed bumps in Bel Air. No, but seriously, the reason why this is the honorable mention is because in 2018, they got updated, which is absolutely crazy because that was nearly a 30-year run of the same platform. And the thing I love about the G-Class is that you can get them from mild to wild, including this little 2-door cabriolet that Doug DeMuro just bought, or go absolutely wild with this G63 AMG 6x6. And as the run ended in 2018, like everything nowadays, the new G-Class is wider, longer, and taller, and the looks are really growing on me. So if you want to be a baller or shot caller, like, pick up a G-Class. The 463 will do anything and everything you need it to. Remember way back at the beginning of this video, I asked you if you'd ever been catfished? Well, just look at the snout on this thing. Yeah, the Maserati Gran Turismo. Doesn't it just look like a catfish? Maserati has been building this sports car since 2007. And the one saving grace is that the 4.2 liter V8 with 400 horse sounds a lot like nothing else. Realistically, nothing major changed on this platform from 2007 all the way up till today, except like the GTR, the motor increased in displacement to 4.7 liters and horsepower increased to 454. And one of the craziest stats about these Maserati Gran Turismos is that if you were to buy one new in just 5 years, it would have depreciated over $100,000. Yeah, that is absolutely crazy. And so if you're not ready to check that video out, then maybe we should switch gears and you should check out 5 cheap cars with insane tuning potential, or check out what YouTube recommends you watch next. Oh, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe. But either way, you can't lose. And as always, keep living that ideal lifestyle.